You have got to make decisions. In this video, we're going over common storytelling mistakes that are made in editing and how to actually fix them using real examples. And if at any point you want to stop watching because the edits are bad, don't. It's kind of the point. And if we haven't met before, my name is Lila. It is very lovely to meet you. Let's get started. Let me just say it. You don't have a story. Yes, anything can be a story, but you need to find that story. You can't just simply put all the clips together chronologically because that is just a series of events. That is just footage. It is not a story. But even without a clear storyline in mind, you can find one, because that is the beauty of editing. So how do you find it? Well, let's take a look at the storyline of my last episode of my YouTube series called Chasing the Spark. I'll put a link to both the series and the episode in the description if you want to watch it. I would appreciate it, and I think you'll like it too. Now, when I first looked at all of the raw footage for episode 3, I had a lot of footage. There was me arriving in LA, going to a Lakers game, going to a Halloween party. I'm exploring the city. I'm meeting my friend Daniel at the Korean Friendship Bell. I'm driving to Big Bear. I'm exploring Big Bear. The electricity isn't working on Halloween night in the cabin. There's just a lot happening, and I filmed all of this. Now, technically, this could all be one story, but it's more like a series of events. It's just me showing like, hey, here's everything I did in LA. So here's how to get to that story. The fun part about editing is that we get to choose our story. I could have crafted a completely different storyline that would still be true. I could have, for example, made a story about just my time in Big Bear, or I could have potentially focused on just the highlights and the glamour of LA and how much fun LA is. But to me, the story that I ended up with felt most authentic to me, and it felt like the best reflection of my time there. Now, the reason why I want to choose your storyline first is because every storyline shapes a completely different edit. Since it's part of a series, I had to keep my overarching storyline in mind, which was me trying to find my creative spark on this trip. Now, this meant that the power outage didn't really fit into the episode. Even though it brought some tension and I could have used that for that tension, I decided to leave it out. I also left out activities such as going to the Lakers game and the Halloween party because they didn't really serve the story. Instead, I used a few short clips from those activities to symbolize how the trip to LA started off really great, basically a visual cue that everything seemed to be going really well at first. They didn't really deserve their own storyline, but they worked perfectly as a quick visual aid to set the tone before things shifted. Okay, great. So I went to LA and to Big Bear, but the question still is, why would anyone care? And this is probably one of the most important questions that you have to ask yourself. Why should anyone care? See, we have established our story, but we haven't established our why yet. And when you don't have your why, your story becomes pointless, and in turn, your viewer also won't be invested. Why would they watch if you don't even know your why? And this is where stakes come in. Now, stakes often feel like stakes, but they don't have to be like life or death action movies, you know? In episode 3, it's the difference between I went to LA and all of my plans in LA fell apart. Everything that I have been looking forward to, it wasn't what I expected at all. One makes you care and the other one, meh. In this specific case, my whole time in LA was at stake because everything fell through, and honestly, I was looking at flights. I wanted to book a flight home. I wanted to give up and just go home. And showing that is what makes the viewer care. Stakes make your viewer invested, and you want to introduce them early in the story or in the video to hook the viewer. So again, instead of, here's what I did in LA and Big Bear, it became, here's how I found inspiration after hitting a low point in LA. See how that story is already coming together? Now, let's get to the fun stuff. We have elevated our storyline from here's what I did in LA and Big Bear to here's how I found inspiration after hitting a low point. Sounds great, but there's still so much potential to ruin your video. I could have explained this situation on camera, sitting in a car. That is not very engaging. Instead of keeping these clips of me talking about what I'm doing, where I'm going, we can replace that with a few clips or edit a fun B-roll sequence that shows us the same thing. But believe it or not, I still have a big problem with this. Can you guess what it is? Let's watch this one more time. This is so boring. Over-explanation, it is a common mistake that editors make, and explanation, it comes in many forms, but I feel like the one that we see most often is showing way too much of a process. When it comes to storytelling, we obviously want to inform the viewer well enough so that they know what's going on, because the worst thing you can do when it comes to storytelling is confuse your viewer. However, it might actually be equally as bad underestimating the viewer and giving them too much information. And as you probably noticed, this was way too much and therefore way too boring. Instead, we can just use a few B-roll clips. We can start with an establishing shot of us driving in the mountains, followed by a few medium and close-up shots, because this is a shorter and snappier way that told us that same entire story, but in a way more engaging way. Let's take a look at what we have so far. What the hell did I just do? That was... Nah. The music you use really makes or breaks your video, and I think that I just proved that point. Let's take a look at a few more different options. Music to make the viewer feel something or to set the tone for what's to come. For this sequence specifically, I wanted to feel transformative and I wanted to feel hopeful, so we need to find a song that reflects that. The next mistake kind of goes hand in hand with the previous ones. Let's have a look. That sequence we just watched, it feels like watching paint dry. It is a really bad edit, like really bad. This is why pacing is so important in storytelling. Pacing makes the story feel alive. It is the rhythm of your edit. In this specific part of the edit, we want to inform the viewer that we are transitioning from one location to the next. Now, we've just learned that we need to show and not tell that, right? This sequence or transition is happening after I hit a low point. So it's meant to feel like a hopeful, transformative transition. So together with the right music, I would tidy the sequence up a lot more and pace it in such a way that evokes that emotion. Let's take a look at this. Fancy, sipping me up like brandy, make you wanna get so handsy. Yes, please, baby, I'm so fancy. Yeah. This sequence is meant to show that I have just arrived in the promising city of Los Angeles and I'm super excited about it. I would edit this sequence in a way, snappier way, and build that excitement and set the tone for how excited this character Lila is to be here. And if the sequence is too slow, it feels like we're purposefully making our viewers suffer, as I'm pretty sure that's how you felt when you were watching that. But if you cut it too fast like this, fancy, sipping me up like brandy, make you wanna get so you lose your viewer as well, because you just gave them a whiplash. And once we've arrived in LA, we can slow down the edit for a little bit, which indirectly makes the viewer feel like we have arrived. See what I did there? Now, for other key moments, a slower cut would work really well. As you can tell, a variation in pacing is of vital importance. In this video, for educational purposes, we're just focusing on one sequence at the time when we are talking about pacing. But obviously, pacing is important throughout your entire video, your entire story, your entire movie, your entire episode, and all of these sequences or scenes, they work together. If you're interested, I could make a walkthrough video where I just talk through the edit and explain my editing decisions, such as pacing. Let me know in the comments by... Let's drop a potato emoji if you would like to see that video. Now, when it comes to speeding up or slowing down your cuts or pacing, it has a lot to do with your intuition as an editor as well. Because at the end of the day, what should really drive your edit is emotion, because you want your audience to feel something. And let that be our next mistake. We have a clear idea of our storyline. We have introduced stakes. We are showing the story. We're not telling the story. And we're also not over explaining it. And we've got our pacing down pretty well. Sounds like a fantastic video. So what else could be wrong? The stakes are our why. This is what will get the viewer invested. But the most important thing is to make your viewer feel something. And showing that story, even when we know why the story is important, it isn't really making us feel much. It feels flat and there's just not enough depth. And that is because we need to introduce, or we need to include, emotional beats. Now, emotional beats are moments in our edit that make the viewer feel something. Now, this sounds super deep and super emotional and maybe even complex, but it could literally be a funny moment or a clip of you having a good time. Seeing you have a good time, it will probably spark joy for the viewer as well. Now, we know that I'm in LA, so now the art is to introduce those emotional beats to make this story memorable, and again, to make the viewer experience the journey with us and feel something. Now, again, the beauty of editing is that we can do whatever we want to do. We can completely change this sequence and we can add an emotional beat where we reflect on how special it is to have come to LA. It could be showing the excitement of arriving in LA, or it could literally just be as simple as me walking in the street, laughing and having a good time. You could talk about this all day. I love editing so much. Again, in this tutorial, we're zooming in on short sequences, but obviously you also want to zoom out and look at the entire story and the emotional arc of your story. An emotional arc is basically the emotional journey that your viewer goes on from start to finish. It is like the rise and the fall and how they feel as your story unfolds. The individual emotional beats that you create, so all of those little moments that make the viewer feel something, they all connect together and form that larger emotional arc. So in episode 3, for example, my emotional arc starts high because I'm excited to be in LA, and then it drops because everything falls apart. But then it slowly rises again as I reconnect with my creativity in Big Bear and we start feeling hopeful again. That emotional journey is what keeps your audience invested beyond what is just happening on the screen. All right, we now have created a video with great story progression, we have stakes, and we have emotional depth, which are honestly, arguably, the hardest things to do. But yes, I know, we're not done. There is still a massive mistake, or dare I say mistakes, that I bet you're still making that will ruin everything that we just worked so hard on. If you want to know what that is, then click on this video right here where I will break it down for you. Again, let me know if you would want to see a whole walkthrough deep dive video in the comments with a potato emoji. I'll see ya in the next one. You.